the coronavirus. The U.S. government making plans to fly back nearly 400 Americans, now facing another 2-week quarantine here at home. This as one American city declares a public health emergency, plus the new concern this morning, a second wave of flu virus hitting hard, especially dangerous to kids.
Arctic blast. Millions of Americans gripped by the polar plunge. The coldest air this season. Dangerous wind chills from the Midwest to the Northeast. As rivers rise to major flood stage in the South, the mandatory evacuations underway.
DOJ drama. Sources telling ABC News the Department of Justice is opening a review into the handling of the case involving Michael Flynn as the department decides not to charge Andrew McCabe. Plus, will President Trump listen to Attorney General Barr's pleas to stop tweeting about these cases?
Candid Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, opens up about her role as a mother in a rare interview.
I think there's a few things that really stand out for me. One is quality of relationships.
What she wants for her 3 kids.
And All-Star Weekend. The star-studded celebrity game overnight.
Common gets a nice layup to go.
The league's top players giving back, with a former president also lending a hand.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hey, good morning. Happy Saturday. Let's get right to our top story, the latest on the novel coronavirus. The U.S. government is now preparing to evacuate nearly 400 Americans stranded on a cruise ship in Japan.
Many look forward to a cruise vacation, but these folks have been stuck on this ship for a week and a half. And when they get back to the U.S., they will go back into quarantine.
All this as we're learning of the first death from the virus outside of Asia. A Chinese man dying in Paris. For the latest on all of this, let's go to ABC's Maggie Rulli, who's in Yokohama, Japan. Maggie, good morning to you.
Eva, good morning. You know, all week people have been telling us that they are desperate to get off of this ship, but now they're saying they feel like they've been given 2 bad options. Either they get on this evacuation flight and then they're stuck in quarantine for another 2 weeks, or they stay on board, but then they're not sure when they'll be allowed back in the United States.
Tensions are running pretty high.
This morning, plans now underway to evacuate nearly 400 Americans stranded aboard the quarantined Diamond Princess. The cruise ship docked in Japan for more than 11 days. At least 285 people on board have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus, including another 67 new cases announced just today. The U.S. Embassy says the emergency evacuation will begin tomorrow. All Americans who show no symptoms and want to leave will be flown back to the U.S., where they'll undergo another 2 weeks of quarantine. U.S. authorities say the more than 23 Americans who already tested positive for the virus will continue their treatment in Japan. People like John Herring. He and his wife Melanie were on board celebrating his retirement. We've been following them all week as John battled a high fever, and yesterday he tested positive for the virus.
I'm alone here in the room, and I would rather be back on the cruise ship.
Back home, health officials are working to stop the spread before it begins.
Individuals who present with flu-like symptoms will also be tested for the China coronavirus. This will give us an early warning system of further spread in the United States.
The U.S. announcing it will now be testing for COVID-19 in 5 major cities in cases where flu tests were negative: in Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York.
We want people to understand we likely will see more cases here in the United States.
And on Friday, San Diego taking no chances. County public health officials declaring health and local emergencies out of an abundance of caution after 2 people who were on an evacuation flight from China tested positive for the virus.
Those Americans on board will have to decide about being evacuated by tomorrow when the plane comes. But many of them tell us that they're now scared for their health. Guys, they spent the last 11 days trying to avoid everyone, and now they're about to get on a bus and a plane with potentially sick people. Guys.
Amazing. They got to go through quarantine again. Maggie, really for us, thank you. We really appreciate it. We will also have an alarming report coming up on the flu, a virus that has killed thousands so far this season. For now, though, we want to turn to the Arctic blast hitting the Midwest and Northeast. Rob is out in Times Square with more on that. Rob, good morning.
Good morning. You know, it's middle of February now. We should have turned the corner as far as the cold air goes, but it's been so mild this winter. This cold snap is certainly a shock to the system. You can see my breath here with the wind chill in the single digits digits here in New York City, even colder as you go a little farther inland. Yesterday was the coldest Valentine's Day in over 70 years in Chicago, Rockford, Illinois, seeing the coldest on record. And you see the temperatures right there. So we do have some milder air shaping in. Temperatures will struggle to get to the freezing mark today across these cities, but tomorrow we do go at or above average. But looking ahead beyond that, don't put the heavy coat away just yet, because temperatures Thursday morning with the next Arctic blast plunge back to where they were yesterday and today, reminding us it is still winter. Dan, back inside
I was just going to say that. It is February. Rob, thank you. We'll talk to you in just a few minutes. Turning now to politics and new questions about the independence of the Justice Department after sources tell ABC News the Attorney General has opened a review of the handling of the Michael Flynn case. Flynn, who, as you may remember, briefly served as President Trump's national security advisor, was caught up in the Mueller probe. ABC's Kara Phillips is in West Palm Beach, where the president is spending the weekend. Kara, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan. Well, the theme here since Trump's acquittal is clearly loyalty. The president is definitely saying and making it clear that loyalty is everything. Otherwise, you may pay the consequences. However, there is one friend that we know the president isn't going to throw under the bus, and that name is Twitter.
After a stunning show of dissent from the president's inner circle this week,
I think it's time to stop the tweeting about Department of Justice criminal cases.
This morning, Attorney General William Barr again making a controversial move. The Justice Department has hired an outside prosecutor to conduct a review into the case of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
Well, I feel badly for General Flynn. I feel very badly.
The move comes as the former lieutenant general, who pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI, filed a motion last month to dismiss the case, citing the government's bad faith, vindictiveness, and breach of the plea agreement. All of this happening as federal prosecutors close a 2-year investigation where it declined to charge former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, accused of allegedly lying to investigators about a leak to the media.
I think it's a disaster. And what he was trying to do was terrible.
President Trump blaming McCabe of being part of a, quote, illegal and treasonous plot. Yesterday, McCabe firing back at the Justice Department.
It is an absolute disgrace that they took 2 years and put my family through this experience for 2 years before they finally drew the obvious conclusion.
All of this days after the president's reaction to an ABC exclusive interview with the Attorney General. Barr blasted Trump's online offloads into ongoing investigations.
To have public statements and tweets made about the department, about people in the department, about cases pending in the department, and about judges before whom we have cases make it impossible for me to do my job.
So even within all this political infighting and debate over who President Trump can trust, his Justice Department is clearly making moves, Dan, to exert its independence.
Speaking of the Justice Department, how unusual is this move by the department to assign an outside prosecutor in the Michael Flynn case?
Great question. Very unusual, and could trigger more accusations of political interference by top justice officials in Washington, Dan. A lot to watch for.
Indeed, always. Kara Phillips in Florida this morning. We really appreciate it. Whit, over to you.
All right, Dan, thanks. Turning now to the guilty verdict for Michael Avenatti, the lawyer now facing decades behind bars. Avenatti has been convicted of a plot to extort millions of dollars from Nike. His lawyers plan to appeal. Avenatti still faces additional trials in New York and Los Angeles. He rose to fame for representing Stormy Daniels in her lawsuit against the president.
Well, now to a tentative agreement between the U.S. and the Taliban. The deal could eventually lead to a withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan. ABC's Stephanie Ramos is here with this story. Good morning, Stephanie.
Eva, good morning. This new deal between the Taliban and U.S. to pause the violence in Afghanistan could lead to a more permanent agreement. But military experts say it would not bring peace to Afghanistan, but it will bring American troops home.
The U.S. and the Taliban have reached a deal that military leaders call a crucial first step in ending America's longest war.
And we've had a series of productive bilateral and collective meetings about the path forward.
The State Department says the agreement right now is to reduce violence in Afghanistan for 7 days, a modified truce. The Taliban agreeing to stop bombings and rocket attacks for that week. If that is successful, the U.S. and Taliban would sign a peace deal that could lead to troop withdrawal, all in exchange for the Taliban's commitment to not allow Afghanistan to be a safe haven for terrorism. This comes after Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Defense Secretary Mark Esper met Friday in Munich with Afghanistan's president. An initial U.S. Taliban agreement was all but done last September. President Trump inviting the militant group to Camp David, then backing out and tweeting about it after an attack that killed a U.S. soldier. The president hinting at a possible resolution at this year's State of the Union.
In Afghanistan, the determination and valor of our warfighters has allowed us to make tremendous progress, and peace talks are now underway.
Experts say U.S. troop removal won't mean the end to conflict in Afghanistan.
An agreement will mean that the U.S. will leave Afghanistan. There will be lots of bloodshed after the U.S. leaves.
There are about 13,000 troops in Afghanistan right now. This year, 7 Americans have died. More than 2,300 soldiers, troops have died since the war began. Now, a permanent peace agreement could bring many of those deployed service members home, which is welcome news to those families here.
Of course, and you are a member of the armed services, but the huge questions about what happens in that country when we leave.
Exactly.
After hundreds of billions of dollars and thousands of American lives. Stephanie, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Turning now to the home front, ICE is sending more resources to sanctuary cities. The agency is deploying an elite team of Border Patrol agents to major cities, including Chicago, New York City, Los Angeles, and Atlanta. The tactical teams will specialize in high-risk operations targeting people with extensive criminal records. The units will assist teams in sanctuary cities through May. This is the Trump administration's latest move to step up immigration enforcement.
Well, closing arguments have wrapped, and now Harvey Weinstein's rape trial is heading to the jury. Prosecutors argued on Friday that they'd proved Weinstein is a predator who used his power to manipulate women who wanted to work in Hollywood. Weinstein's lawyers claim that his accusers were not passive victims and that prosecutors overreached. Jury deliberations start on Tuesday.
Well, now to the campaign trail. The Democratic presidential candidates are setting their sights on Nevada a week before the state holds its caucus. ABC's Rachel Scott is in Las Vegas as several candidates make their case to the voters.
Eva, good morning. With early voting kicking off today, the candidates are packing their schedules ahead of the Nevada caucuses. The next 2 contests will be a crucial test as the Democratic primary turns to more diverse states.
This morning, the race to get ahead in the West.
It's good to be back in the battle-born state.
Joe Biden confident he can finish top 2 here in Nevada after falling behind in the first 2 contests.
I've been saying for some time now that the character of the nation is on the ballot. And I mean it in a literal sense. We're in the battle. We're in the battle for the soul of this country.
With the caucuses just 1 week away, the former VP beefing up his staff in the state, now more than 130 on the ground. Nevada's racial diversity and strong union presence will play a critical role in how the nation's 3rd contest plays out.
How are you, Senator?
I'm very good.
Thanks for visiting.
Senator Amy Klobuchar campaigning in Las Vegas, facing questions about her immigration record and her vote for a bill more than a decade ago, which included an amendment to make English the official language.
That is not a position I take.
Okay.
I did vote that way back then, along with many other people. Okay. You should check out the base bill. It was in the base bill in the end.
Mayor Pete Buttigieg fighting to build support among minority voters.
Well, the only way to win the African American vote is to deserve it. So it starts by reaching out and asking and seeking that support.
Also looking for another strong finish, Senator Bernie Sanders, fresh off his New Hampshire victory, already focusing in on the states next in line.
We're going to win the state of Texas.
And the field has narrowed. 3 candidates have dropped out of the race in the last week. 8 are still fighting for the chance to take on President Trump. Dan?
This is wide open. For now, it seems like Bernie is the man to stop. Rachel, thank you. We're going to have continuing coverage leading up to the Nevada caucus right here on ABC News and over on our new streaming channel, ABC News Live, available right now. Breaking news and analysis around the clock. Meanwhile, fears about the coronavirus have been overshadowing the flu, which infects and kills many more people and is on the rise here in the U.S. as what appears to be a second wave of the flu spreads. Parents are now being warned that this flu season has been worse for children than any season in a decade. And ABC's Diane Macedo is right here with more. Diane, good morning to you.
Dan, good morning to you. So we already have 92 flu-related child deaths reported, which is higher at this point in the year than in any season in the past decade. Experts say one reason for that is that the two strains going around are both especially hard on kids, something they call a double-barrel flu season.
This morning, a second wave of the flu virus is hitting the U.S. New numbers from the CDC show after falling for the first 2 weeks of the year, flu cases are back on the rise. So far this season, the CDC estimates there have been at least 26 million flu cases, 250,000 hospitalizations, and 14,000 deaths. And the season has been especially hard on children, with flu-related child deaths and hospitalizations at their highest point in a decade.
What we found is that there's been more of a higher predominance of influenza B. And unfortunately, influenza B tends to affect the pediatric population a bit harder.
For 16-year-old Katie Giovanello of Virginia, the virus turned deadly.
It's so sad that she's not here. It's so sad.
Her mother says the teen was diagnosed with influenza B on February 2nd and died just 5 days later, even though she had a flu shot.
That these symptoms could kill her, I just didn't know that. I really didn't, and I didn't really know the flu can kill you.
And the CDC is releasing flu vaccine effectiveness estimates next week. In the meantime, while the vaccine isn't perfect, doctors say this is still the best way to protect yourself, along with hand washing and cleaning frequently touched surfaces.
Wow, hearing from that mom.
It's heartbreaking.
Awful, wrenching. Diane, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We do want to turn now back to the weather. Rob Marciano watching some serious flooding in the south right now.
Finally got a sunny day in Mississippi, but the rivers are on the rise, you can see here. They've had tremendous amounts of rain over the past, really, 3 weeks. This is the Pearl River out of Jackson, Mississippi. You can see folks walking through the flooded streets there. This is going to continue to rise until tomorrow and Monday when it will finally crest. But obviously, homes and neighborhoods being flooded here, and there's a little bit more rain on the way. Let's talk about the next storm that's coming in. It's in the Pacific Northwest today. Seattle, Portland, you'll get some rain. Snowed about 2,000-3,000 feet that gets into Boise, Idaho, Salt Lake City, Jackson, Wyoming, and it kind of scoots over Denver, gets into the plains during the day on Monday with some snow from Des Moines over to Milwaukee. And the rain, it does get into the flooded areas. It'll be on the light side, so not nearly as much as we've seen in the past couple of weeks. As far as the snow goes, over a foot in some of the Cascade ranges. Sun Valley, you'll probably see 6 to 12 inches. Jackson Hole, Solitude, Steamboat, another winner in the snow department. And again, lighter snows, not too big of a problem from La Crosse to Green Bay, but the cold air is going to be coming in on Wednesday and Thursday. That's a check on what's happening nationally. It's time now for a look at your local forecast.
Well, hello and happy Saturday. Meteorologist Alex Liggett here. Very cold start. We're talking one of the coldest starts of the winter, mainly into the teens. Highs today reaching the upper 30s, so we will get above freezing. Light winds out there, not much of a chill. By your Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. Weak disturbance moves through late in the day. No precipitation expected. 52 degrees, 53 on your Monday for President's Day, and we will be very warm to start next week. 58 degrees. Next chance for rain on Tuesday. Colder by the end of the week.
Sweater Saturday, which reminds me of about a year ago this time, you and I shared a special Valentine's Day sweater together. Yeah, that's something.
I think we have that on a pillow somewhere.
Do we have
here?
I saw that photo.
Coming up later in the show, we're going to resume one of my favorite memories in TV news. These two guys in a tandem sweater. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen on television.
I'm still not sure if that was a high or a low career moment. The jury's still out on that one.
It can be both at once.
Yeah,
Both look like you enjoyed it. That's what I remember.
We were warm.
Rob runs hot. Thank you for that weather report, Rob.
So much information there. Well, turning now, Delta Airlines is going green. The airline announcing a $1 billion plan to become carbon neutral by the end of the decade. To reach that green goal, Delta is upgrading to a fuel-efficient fleet and focusing on clean
flight technology. Delta is also investing in programs to rebuild forests and environments impacted by jet engine emissions.
All right, a milestone for a classic toy. The Etch-a-Sketch is turning 60 years old, and to celebrate, the Etch-a-Sketch is shaking things up with limited editions of its magic screen. This year, the company is joining forces with other popular brands to crank out a collection series. You can soon find Etch-a-Sketch toys with themes from Monopoly, NASA, the Rubik's Cube, and one featuring comic book legend Stan Lee. So there you go.
All right.
Shake it up. Try something new.
Turning now to Janae with a love gap. Just trying to
I
like,
think I'm
cover over that for wit.